Okay, so this week we're starting phase two. Last week, of course, we covered phase one. So this is a phase two part one overview. We're going to cover two parts this week, just like last week, part one and part two on Monday and Thursday. And so let's get into phase two, part one, and what we're going to cover. So phase two is really going to talk a lot about finding more opportunities. So I already gave you a basic methodology, some basic tips, kind of a basic process for finding opportunities. We talked about looking at ad tools and kind of analyzing advertising, looking and seeing where people are spending money, looking and seeing what ads are apparently, making money and are creating an opportunity and a profit for somebody. And we've looked at visitor numbers, kind of seeing where the action is on websites, who's getting a lot of visitors or at least enough visitors where they seem to be making money. So we kind of covered all those things last week, but now we're going to cover some other ways to find opportunities. And these are, again, opportunities that we can emulate and build businesses out of. So one of the things that you need to know is we're going to stick to our core principle, as always, sell what's already selling, right? We've been talking about this mantra over and over again, and it's no exception this week in phase two as we start to explore more opportunities. So we're going to sell what's already selling. We're going to examine online marketplaces. So one of the things that you need to know is there are millions and millions of dollars being made online by different companies, different competitors, where they're not using just typical websites of their own and marketing of their own. So there are marketplaces out there that you can find great opportunities with, and you can find some great things to emulate yourself to make a lot of money with. And these marketplaces that are out there have nothing to do with independent websites. Sometimes companies will take a hybrid approach and they'll do both. They'll have independent marketing, and you'll always want to check for that. We'll talk about that. And they'll have all the activity on the marketplace itself. So we're going to look into that as well. We're going to look at Amazon a little bit and just look at some hot sellers, look at some different categories. This is just another tool, another place to find some good ideas, to find some good opportunities in case you want to be in the physical product space, or in case you already have a business selling physical products, or even if you have a digital only type of a business where you do info products or software and you want to expand and sell certain types of products to the same customer base. A great example is the Survival Life business I talked to you about my good friend Ryan Deiss, that has a very, very successful multi-million-dollar business where they sell info products and all kinds of information on survival techniques, for purifying water and protecting yourself and finding food and all that good stuff. And one of the neat things that they do is they use a front-end offer, and it's like a folding credit card knife thing. It's an actual physical product that's shipped to people. So they have a very hybrid business. It's part physical, and then it's part information product. So definitely something you want to consider because there's a lot of money to be made with physical products too. We're going to examine the App Store. I'm talking about Apple's App Store. I could show you Google Play. We could look at some Google type stuff, some Android things. But really, the majority of the money is being made on the Apple App Store for iOS. So this is, apps that run on the iPad, apps that run on the iPhone. That's where 80% of the profits are being made. So following our 80-20 rule, we talked about, again, just using strategy, using math. That's what we want to focus on. So if you get into apps at all, develop an app for any business, and you'll want to consider doing apps for any business to generate leads as well as to generate more money. And in doing so, you want to put your core focus on the Apple App Store and just develop for iOS. One, it's cheaper if you just focus on that anyways and not try to do that and Android. You can always expand to Android later if you really want to reach more people. But there's just so much money to be made just with Apple's App Store and making stuff for the iPad and the iPhone that you really want to just focus on that first and get that really, get that going well. I started a app/video game business about 4 years ago. I have since sold that business, but I started that business and I had a single app do over $1 million of in-app purchases. In other words, when people click inside the app to buy stuff. So a lot of opportunity with apps. And we also we built a 400,000 person opt-in email list just from free apps that we had in the App Store. So again, tremendous opportunity there. We're going to look at some app analytics. I'm going to show you a site that tracks activity in the App Store. We can see some trending apps and who's ranked where and by what country, and some really, really fascinating stuff. That's definitely something you'll want to know how to do if you want to look into the app business or into the app market. Now, all these things like looking at Amazon for physical products, looking at app-related data, even if you're just only wanting to do info products or only wanting to do software and you don't want anything to do with physical products or apps in the App Store. You still need to know this stuff. It's still good to use for research. You can get ideas and you could, figure other things out and how it relates to kind of just digital products. And last but not least, in this phase two, part one, we're going to talk about analyzing undervalued opportunities. This is very important stuff because we can often find where someone's making some money, but they may not really be making a lot of money because they just don't understand good fundamentals, especially the ones you're learning in this class, on how to scale an online business. So because of that, they may have created something that's getting a little bit of traction and they're making a little bit of money, but they don't know how to go deep. They don't know how to build a funnel of multiple products. They don't know how to create a back end and offer other things for sale. And they certainly don't know how to scale up the business and buy traffic and really grow the business. So we're going to also talk about that, analyzing these, what I call undervalued opportunities.